Hey, all of you out there in Eorzea, welcome to She Heals, I Tank, your weekly Final Fantasy XIV podcast. Today is Friday, August 14th, and this is episode 230 of the Shit Podcast. I'm your host, Vegan Pete, and unfortunately, not by my side this week. Abigail is resting those vocal cords, so she is not here, but we have the amazing Kooky. You may know her as a producer on Limit Break Radio, but more recently as a host of RNG&Tea. We've got Kooky in the house. Thank you so much being here on short notice. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you for inviting me. I appreciate you and very grateful for that. Best wishes to Avi. I do hope she does get well soon. I miss her.
Yes.
I
She
really miss
was
her.
really hoping she was going to be able to rally and make it for the show tonight, but she even had to go into urgent care today and get some steroid shots for her vocal cords that were very swollen. And yeah, it's a whole thing. But she is doing okay. So thank you for the best wishes, everyone. And really excited to get your opinions on some stuff today, Kooky. So once again, thank you. And we appreciate all of you lovely listeners out there, whether you're enjoying the Shit Podcast live here at twitch.tv/shehealsitank or enjoying your shit later via the podcast or YouTube. Thank you so much. And if you've enjoyed your shit so much, please consider subbing like these awesome peeps. First time subs from Baked Octopi, Coralie Strand, Rocket Boo, Sword of Storms, and Cashew the Nut. At 3 months, we have Helix Grim. 4 months, we have Paul Metal Mace and Boxcar Strauss. At 5 months, we have Nessaleka. 9 months, Nomad NP and Crow623. 10 months, God Matrix. And coming in at 1 year, we have Pater Pants. And shout out again to Batkid, once again hooking some people up with gift subs. Really appreciate the support.
Woot. I love your name, by the way. Again, She Heals, I think it's perfect.
Sometimes like people don't get it right away, and like Avi will be like, get it, and I'm like, you didn't explain what the acronym is. She's just like, we're the Shit Podcast, get it? And like, you didn't tell him the name She Heals, I Tank yet.
It makes perfect sense to me, and I love it.
But thank you all again so much for all the support. And I'm sure a lot of you who have been active in the Final Fantasy XIV community for some time know of Kooky, but there's always new people listening. So Kooky, I have a few little questions for people to get to know you a little bit better.
Right.
Once again, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a while since we last met, and I'm sure we said something on Twitter, but let me do it in person now. Congratulations on getting married.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, it's been a while. It's been almost 2 years
Yeah.
now.
We last saw each other at the 2018 FanFest in Las Vegas, and now due to a global pandemic, 2 out of the 3 FanFest have already been canceled. What would you personally prefer? Would you rather have the FanFests go online and have like the normal expansion info at the regular times, or push it back into next year, hopefully get one in person before the expansion?
Considering the pattern that Yoshipi has always been doing, I'm sure they're just gonna do like an online thing to show the expansion. But I rather would have that fan fest because even though I don't play Final Fantasy 14 as much anymore, I would still love to go out to a fan fest and just meet the community. Damn pandemic! Can I curse here, by the way?
Yes. You
Okay,
can
so
curse on the Shit Podcast.
well, no, duh, shit. Okay, duh. But yeah, I'd definitely rather go to a fan fest. I mean, the last time we saw you, we had so much fun.
Yes.
I don't know if you remember some parts,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I'm sure we had so much fun.
Yeah, in a normal year, we would be planning our trips to FanFest right now. This year was going to be the first time NA FanFest changed locations. It was going from Las Vegas to San Diego, where you used to live, where you live now, and but reversed, I guess.
I know.
Had you been planning to make the return to San Diego for FanFest this year?
I was.
Yeah.
So behind the scenes, me and Avi were actually planning the after party
Oh,
for for the San Diego Fan Fest, but
Oh,
that didn't happen.
yeah, we
So
were really excited about giving that a shot. I'm like, we have the
yeah.
blueprint from Kooky and LBR. Let's try to keep it going.
I'm like, I had to help participate with this. I'm like, we need to have some huge after party. And with Limit Break Radio is not really doing anything. I'm like, I need to give my services and get something going. But
And I
oh
feel like
well.
San
Yeah.
Diego downtown in the gas lamp is the perfect location too, because there's plenty
Yes.
of smaller places where I don't know if we
Yes.
could fill the whole place that you did in Vegas with everyone. So there are a lot more options over there.
I love the options in San Diego. And that's what I totally miss about being in San Diego is just being downtown Gaslamp because there's so many local places, local bars. I've noticed they've also had like an arcade bar there that I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
try out to do too. So and the beers. I miss the craft beer. Let me just tell you that I really miss the craft beer.
I went to a couple craft breweries last time in Vegas. They're starting to come up. I think you guys are
Starting.
gonna be pretty good in a couple years, maybe.
I hope so.
Going back to that last fan fest, you had quite a lot on your plate. You were wrangling what was probably over a dozen content creators that were all there for the Final Fantasy XIV community after party presented by Limit Break Radio. There must have been a lot of emotions going on that night. I believe it had already been announced that LBR was going to be wrapping up as a Final Fantasy XIV podcast. Much of the team was moving on to Checkpoint XP. How were you feeling that night dealing with throwing an amazing party along with some pretty major life changes going on as well?
There was so much going on. Um, I just was there since I helped plan the whole party. I did all the RSVPs. There was actually like almost 400 RSVPs just for that party.
Wow.
And yeah, it was crazy. And like dealing with the venue as well as dealing with the content creators, make sure they had time there, making sure the guests were coming in because if you saw me at the party, you would have seen me running around with a headset.
Yep.
Like I don't even look like a party goer. I was there actually working.
People would ask me like, "Have you seen Kooky?" I'm like, "Just look for the headset. She's running around somewhere."
It was crazy, but I'm glad everyone had such a great time. We wanted LBR to have a good farewell party as well as, bring the community together. Lemon Brigado has been a while since Final Fantasy 11, not 11, yeah, Final Fantasy 11 going into 14, and then they were just moving into Checkpoint. And then I guess right after that was actually my bachelorette party because I was getting married that year,
Yeah.
like 2 weekends after I was getting married. And then after that, in January of 2019, I was actually moving to Las Vegas. So it was so many emotions. I was just trying to get my head together and make sure everything went right. So
There was a lot going on for you, and I think you 100% succeeded with that party. It was amazing.
yes, thank you. And I'm glad Chili got to go. He said thank you for inviting me as a content creator. I remember when we did that, was it a GoFundMe or a
Yeah,
Kickstarter for
we
Chili?
did
I
a
was like,
little GoFundMe to get Chili to America.
yeah, and I love that. And that's what's the whole point about being a community content creator person, I guess, in Final Fantasy 14. I love that.
And that really is the best part about FanFest. Like, it's fun seeing the announcement that Square Enix has, but what you really remember is hanging out with all the people, whether it's content creators or people
Exactly.
that you play with the game, just meeting new
Yes.
people as well. That's the reason to go to FanFest.
Yes, exactly. Even if you don't even play the damn game anymore, I'm telling you, you gotta go to
That's
Fan
one way to get excited for it.
Fest.
So yeah, I really hope they are able to pull something out at the beginning of next year, or maybe a couple months into next year.
I
Or if
hope so
the
too.
expansion unfortunately must be pushed back a little bit, then it gives them a little bit more time to get something for FanFest going.
Yeah, and if Square Enix, if you need help, I can help plan. I'm just kidding.
So you went from creating content on a weekly basis for one video game with Limit Break Radio to having to create content just about daily for the video game industry as a whole. What was that change like for you?
That was an amazing experience. I wouldn't change it for the world. I mean, you're being paid to do what you love to do. which is reporting on video games, playing video games, finding out about video game events or news that pops up, and putting your opinion out there about video games. Excuse me. It was an amazing experience. I know I've talked about it on RNG&Tea. I was let go there, unfortunately, but I would not change that experience at all. Um, but it's actually amazing. The only hard part was actually reporting on esports. I know esports is a growing, blooming business.
Mm-hmm.
It's just harder for me to do that. Unless I actually get into the game. I think it depends on the game.
Yeah,
Because like with Overwatch, like I have no information on Overwatch. Like I don't get it.
yeah, it's a little bit hard to be, or at least portray passion for something that you're not really that into yourself.
Right. But I have to say their production wise is amazing because even with working for Checkpoint, like going to the Blizzard Arena, that
Hmm.
was so much fun. Going to the Riot Studios to check out the LCS Arena, that was an amazing experience. I don't know, just having that experience and seeing this, and you're like, wow, people actually play video games as a sport. It's an amazing idea, but it's just hard to get it if you're
And I
not into the
think
game.
it's really cool, and it was a really great opportunity. Esports have been around for a while, but I still consider it like getting in at the ground floor and being
Right.
able to cover all this stuff. So, what were some lessons that from your time at LBR and Checkpoint that you were able to learn and apply to your own show now at RNG&T?
So with RNG&T, we kind of stick with the same format as we did with our previous podcast on Not Your Player 2. It's available on Omni.fm. I mean, it's supposed to be gone, but just so you know, it's still out there. We keep
Nothing
the
dies
same.
on the internet; it's always
Yeah,
out there.
yeah. It's we basically Nate. Yeah, everyone knows who Nate Bender is of Limerick Radio, the ultimate salt primal. He mentored us very well. He taught us how to audio mance a little bit, which leave it to Lloyd, our producer. Me and Sarah, we decided to just keep going, keep the same format. You know, female gamers also play video games. Come on
Of
now, it's
course.
not just a boys' game. Um, so we just kept going with it and say this is something that we do like to do, and we just do it on a monthly basis for now.
That is awesome. So, getting into a little bit of Final Fantasy 14, what was your first experience with 14? When did you start playing? What job did you initially pick?
My first experience as 14 was the beta, that horrible 1.0, where I put it on my desktop and I could not go anywhere. That horrible, 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 horrible lag. And I just logged off.
Wow.
It was bad. I think I was in Olda and I was on some kind of boat. That's what I remember.
Okay.
I picked Rogue from or the bow and arrow one. I,
Archer?
yeah, Archer. All I picked was the Archer. But then when I came back for beta for Realm Reborn, it was on my PS3. I remember it so well, and I picked Warrior. Made sure it's Cookie the Light, and I was still on the boat because I have the boat with the ocean. You know,
Sure.
I was living in Oceanside at the time, so I was like, it has to be somewhere near the ocean, and that's what I picked, Warrior. And I'm still technically a warrior, though I've been leveling White Mage just because it's of the instant queue. So
That's actually what I was going to ask you because you started out as warrior. Then, what job did you go through on the MSQ here in 5.3?
yeah, 5.3 was White Mage only because the instant queue, and I can hang back and not be worried about what should I do and what should I tank first. That whole tank
Yes,
anxiety.
that's tank anxiety is a real thing. Even
Yes.
I get it. I've been main tanking for a long time. Final Fantasy 14 is often described as a theme park MMO. What are some, a little bit of rides for everyone? What are some of your favorite things to do in game?
Um, what do I do in game? For a few moments, last year I would just play mahjong.
I was
It's
right
so
there with
bad.
you.
It is so bad. Like you get so addicted to that game. So for a while I did mahjong.
And one game
Um
can take like an hour.
yes, yes. And you're sitting there and you're like, okay, I lost this game. Let's play another. And next thing you know, it's like dark outside. And you're like,
Yeah.
what happened?
Do you happen to remember what you got your rating up to?
No, I don't remember.
I was
It's
trying
been a
so
while.
hard for that achievement, and every time I got to 1700, I would just have like a losing streak that brought me back down to like 1600. And going through that like 3 times, I'm like, okay, I need to take a break from mahjong.
Other than that, I don't really know. I mean, it's been, let me just tell you, it has been a while. Like, I've only been jumping in for Shadowbringers just for the main story
Main
quest line.
story.
So, the stories that I would hear today, you'll get a true reaction from me.
So besides MSQ, which you came back for, has there been anything you've heard of that you're excited for either patch 5.3 or 5.35?
You know what? I've been staying away from Final Fantasy 14 news that I don't even know what's coming up.
Hmm.
Like, I didn't even read the patch notes. I usually would read the patch notes, but I don't know. So I'm kind of excited to hear what the news is coming, what news is coming up for Final Fantasy 14, so I can be like excited for it again,
Awesome.
possibly.
Well, I'd like to get your opinions on some of the stuff that I did then this week and see if any of them interest you at all. One last question before we get more into the episode. Yoshida offered you the opportunity to change or add one thing in the game. What would it be?
Change,
Change
change
or
what?
add?
Change or add in the game? Ugh, ugh. Change, change, change your content. I mean, I mean, I like how everyone's going into the raids and whatnot. Probably the I think the biggest complaint all the time is the items. I know you can glam stuff and whatnot. That glamour is the end game. We get it. It's just there's nothing in the game that would be like, oh my gosh, I gotta have this. This would be forever the best item level gear or weapon ever. Like I'm gonna compare it to Final Fantasy 11. I have to say that. Like a Final Fantasy 11 relic is not the same thing as a Final Fantasy. I
So
mean, beyond.
I never played 11, so I don't really know that comparison. What's the difference in 11?
Final Fantasy XI's relic, it's like you really grind for it, and it's still really important. And you can look at someone with the relics like, oh my gosh, that person went through so much crap just to get that relic,
So is
that
it
sort of
like
thing.
one relic all the way through, not like Final Fantasy where we have like a new relic every expansion?
Yes, it's just that one
Oh
relic.
wow.
Yeah, so that's why I think it's like we get something so easy in Final Fantasy 14, and in Final Fantasy 11 you work and work and work for it, and then you're like, "Hey, I got this." And everyone's like, "Whoa, that's crazy."
Yeah. Yeah, there really isn't anything like that in 14. And thank you to Batkid for gifting that sub. Really appreciate it. Chili's
Heck yeah.
saying, "Oh yeah, that Final Fantasy 11 relic grind." And Atrum says took him 3 years to make their Final Fantasy
Yeah.
relic on 11. Both miss and don't miss. So a little
Yes.
bit of a love-hate relationship with the relic in 11. It sounds like.
Yes. Just a little bit. Cuz you spent so much time working on it, and now you have it. You have that title, but like, oh my gosh, just going through the grind. It's crazy.
Yeah,
And
and
it's
in 14 there is a, even if you're doing like the most high-end content, it's always outgeared next patch. Like it doesn't
yeah,
really, you
like
you get that initial achievement of beating the hardest content at the time, but you don't really carry anything over.
I think that's the reason why I don't really do any of the high content, because it's like, what's the point? I can like wait a couple years and easily go into it and probably do it just by myself. So I don't know. It's just weird.
Okay, well, thank you for that little insight into Kooky. Now we're gonna get into everyone's favorite segment, the Greenleaf Minute.
I
And
tried.
this week's Greenleaf Minute is about painting. You heard me right, painting. This Greenleaf came up because Avi was redecorating the FC house and wanted to display paintings in her picture frames that she crafted. First of all, to collect paintings, you have to complete your sightseeing log. You have to complete out to sight for your 1 through 20 sightseeing log, and out of sight, out of mind achievement for your 1 through 80 sightseeing logs. Once you have completed the first out to sight, the paintings will be available to purchase from the Joyous Painter NPC in Idleshire. You can also sell and purchase paintings from the market board. And an even cooler element to all of us is that you can preview the paintings before purchasing them by selecting the preview subcommand. After selecting the painting name, paintings can be previewed in the following menus: Shops, Market Board, Items linked in Log Window, and Inventory. And Avi has been putting a ton of work into the FC house lately. So I'll put like our FC plot and ward number in the show notes this week, and anyone interested in going and seeing all the work that Avi's done is welcome to come check it out. She's made like a whole bunch of little photo studios in the basement so you can go get your glamour shots on. Was that anything you were ever into, the housing decorations?
You know what? Only in Animal Crossing.
Okay.
No, but I get it. I probably would get into it if I do see what maybe Avi can get me into it. I just gotta see the pictures first.
I don't know if she'll get you into decorating, but maybe just like
I don't know, but
taking cool screenshots. All right. Well, thank you to Avi for that Greenleaf Minute show. She was here in spirit with that one.
That's cool.
And we have Avi's favorite segment, but she doesn't even here to enjoy it. It's the tweet of the week. The tweet of the week. Avi's favorite segment comes from Ida-san, who said, just finished the podcast and loved it. Awesome job, everyone. And they were tagging Paul Metal and Chili for last week's episode, who was guest hosting with us. So thank you once again to Paul and Chili over at Mugu Go Round Radio. People loved you on it, buddies.
Hey.
News
and I love the horn.
Avi hates the horn. That's why we do it. It's not even like I like it. It's more that she hates it. Some news and notes from around the realm. With patch 5.3, season 15 of the feast came to an end. Be sure to check the ranking page to see what place you got. I gotta say, as much as I don't really enjoy PvP in 14, the rewards that they give for the feast are really cool. Like how you were saying you wish there was something that like people are like, oh shit, like how'd you get that? What went into getting that? I feel like the feast is like the one part of the game where it's only available for one season. You can never get it again. You kind of just have to play a bad system for it.
I was never into the feast. Like, I don't get it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't really like instance PvP, so that wasn't my thing at all either. It's like the rewards are almost good enough to get me to try the feast again, but then I try it once and I'm like, I'm not going to grind this out to try to get to the top 100 per data center, which is what you got to get the mount. And that's like the lowest tier prize is the mount. Like the top 100 get it, and then like the top 10 get something else, and the top 1 gets a trophy.
I wonder how many people actually pay still. I don't know.
I mean, the ranking page has at least 100 on there, so.
That's true.
And the Moonfire Fair event is coming back. Have you done that one yet?
No, not this year. I might do this weekend. I'm excited.
So it did start this week, and you'll have until Wednesday, August 26th to complete it. The rewards for this are a water bomb stand outdoor furnishing, which was like a bomb, and it kind of looked like a hot air balloon that was on the ground. I didn't know what was in it. I didn't know, was it hot water balloons? I'm not sure what was going on with it.
I don't know, but it looks cool. It's probably the only reason why I didn't get it.
You can also get a flame dance emote, and you'll get some glamour gear that includes sandals, a Hawaiian skirt, some wristbands, a straw hat, and a bikini top for the ladies, while the men will go shirtless. I did do this event already. We did this on stream on Wednesday, And the story of it was about on par from what we had in the past years. It's what I expected. It was good. It was fun. It's a seasonal event. But I thought the fate for this one was boring.
What is it? What is the fate?
So from I don't know if you have the preview up, the poster preview from it that I linked in there. There's like this big ass shark on the poster, and it's just not nearly as cool in person. And it's like got short little legs and arms walking on the sand, and then you have this bomb that you're dancing for to make the bomb bigger and hurt the shark. So you basically just press 2 buttons for the dances to make the bomb bigger or more inflamed, something like that. And
so you're dancing for the flame to get bigger to beat the shark.
Yes. So you're not using any of your battle abilities against the shark. You just have 2 dance buttons on your hotbar.
What?
And avoiding some AoE, and it went on for too long. So I recommend waiting for the fate to be about half over and then going. You'll still get gold, and you won't have to have done it for as long.
No, I'm sorry. Come on, Square Enix, you can do better. Come on.
Like I said, the story was okay. The fate itself was lacking a little bit.
No, I'm sorry.
But you should do it. The rewards are decent for the effort you have to put in. They're pretty good rewards. Just a little lackluster on the fate.
Yeah, I'll do it for the outfit. That's for sure.
I felt like the hat that we get is a very good like gardening glamour hat. I can wear that while I'm tending my garden in Final Fantasy XIV.
Yeah, that works. It's a big straw hat.
Yeah, it's an awesome hat.
Let's see, optional items. It says, speaking of the Moonfire Fair, previous rewards from the 2019 edition of the Moonfire Fair have been added to the Final Fantasy XIV online store. So if you're new to the game or just missed out on the rewards from last year and you got some money burning a hole in your pocket, head on over and pick those up. It looks like the glamour pieces they added from last year will run you at $3 a piece, single character. Oh geez, single character, not account wide.
Yes, you only get on one of them.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so they're still going with the cash up. Okay, cool,
Yes.
Square Enix.
So had you even heard, there's no longer the MOG station to buy these optional items. Now there's the Final Fantasy XIV online store.
Very interesting.
They've classed it up a little bit.
I like the Moogle Cash Shop better because it goes into character. Stick with the character.
Buddhist Metal says you only have to do 2 fates to get the rewards. Yes, that is correct. You only have to do it twice to get all of the rewards available for it. But like,
okay,
it's 1 more than I'd prefer do it. I'd only want to do it once because it lasted a long time. The first time we got there from the very beginning, I'm like, okay, I'm over this one halfway through. We're doing the same thing over and over again. But now, the event that everyone has been waiting for, just around the corner. Starting August 19th at 1 a.m. Pacific, and I know you all are going to wake up at 1 a.m. to start the Yokai Watch collaboration event. This time with 4 new yokai. Were you still playing around this time when the Yokai Watch collaboration started for the first time?
Yes, I was.
And how many minions did you get? Did you collect them all?
I didn't get all of them. I think I was missing 2 or 3. And I got the Whisper mount, but just not the sparkly Whisper.
I did the same thing, actually. So, if you got everything from last event, you'll be able to get those 4 new yokais. And they're also adding weapons for Samurai, Red Mage, Gunbreaker, and Dancer, which I've heard complaints that there aren't enough variety of weapons for those jobs. So, it could be nice for the people really looking to... I don't know about class up their weapon collection because they're all kind of cartoony, but they're definitely a variety. Disco Cub says he's pretty excited about the dancer weapons. Buddhist Metal says it will be his first, so you got a lot of yokais to collect.
Oh yeah, have fun with it.
if you've already done the quest from the previous events, you won't be able to do the quest part again, but you will be able to get the medallion, which you can use to obtain the yokai medals, which are what you spend to get the rewards, to get all the minions and stuff.
Is it the yokai watch that you keep? Is that the one that they're talking about?
Yeah, I think there's a watch and a medallion. I'm not sure what the difference is.
Yeah, I never trashed mine, so I'll just get it out of my storage.
They said even if you did trash it, you will be able to obtain it again.
Yeah.
You just won't be able to go through the quest, which I can't even remember what the quest was. I thought it was just like, here are these, now go catch them.
I don't remember. I think it has to do with fates. Of course, it has to do with fates.
Yeah, we definitely had to do a lot of fates to collect them, but I don't remember what it was leading up to that. Like, was there a story of why we got to catch these? Was there a story about why they're in Eorzea? I have no idea.
We'll see.
Did you know what Yokai Watch was before this event?
No.
Neither did I. And I saw that it was a TV show that was available to watch, and I made it through like 5 minutes of it. I'm like, nope, not for me.
Oh my gosh, you did the same thing that I did. Pokemon's better.
Gave it a little bit of a try.
Yoshida message. Ooh, I want to hear this. Yoshida posted a message on both the official forums and Twitter regarding the new HQ turn-in feature and housing situation. Number 1, a checkbox for HQ turn-ins was added for Grand Company's lobby quest to make it more apparent for new players, but this has greatly lowered the efficiency of turn-ins. This will be removed in a hotfix at the end of August. I don't remember that.
Really don't remember. What it is, you know, when you can go to your Grand Company and you could either use it to get a whole bunch of XP for your crafters by turning in certain items that you made, or you could turn in like gear and you'd get Grand Company seals for it. Okay. So you used to be able to just turn it in really quickly, regardless if it was HQ or not. Now there's going to be like a checkbox, and so that slowed it down because you have to like click OK or something like that. And so apparently it lowered the efficiency, and people are pissed off about it.
I guess. Okay, people, be mad about that. And number 2, Yoshida said, while we are very grateful for the increase in players due to the new updates, the housing demolition timer has remained disabled due to COVID-19. We are planning to add more plots soon, but due to the current situation, the installation process has been slowed down. While we cannot proceed with physical installations, we will optimize the server and add as many plots as we can up until patch 5.4. We apologize for the inconvenience caused. The full details of the announcement is currently being prepared. Thank you for your patience.
I don't know if Final Fantasy XIV is ever going to get the housing problem under control.
Never. I don't think so.
Like, they just don't seem to want to go to instance housing. They want to keep the neighborhood feel of it. But I don't know about other people. It's rare that you get into a ward where there's like a lot of people out by their house wanting to do stuff. Like, occasionally one of them will throw a FC party or something like that, the costume contest, which is always cool. But I don't know if I really think they have that great of a neighborhood feel to it. Like, I wouldn't mind if they added instance housing.
No, I wouldn't mind either, but I get it. It's the whole installation and stuff for it, but installations or whatever. But if the people want it, I'm sure Yoshida will get it in there sometime.
I feel like if it's a cost measure, they should just have like one section of the MOG station or the FF14 store now that it's like, if you buy these, it's going to servers for housing, and then like see how much money we can raise by that.
They'll get a lot of money.
Like, let people like prepay for their house.
That would get a lot of money. But then that causes like, what if you get those whales out there? You know, you have these gacha games where people spend like over thousands and thousands of dollars just for this one gacha card. And
Chile's gonna buy housing for everyone.
Yeah. I believe it, Chile.
All right, that's it for... Oh, I did want to bring up, since you said you hadn't been paying attention to the news that much, with housing, we're most likely going to be getting Ishgard housing. Is that something you're excited for?
You know what? They've been talking about this forever and ever. Like even back in Limit Break Radio days, we've been talking about Ishgard housing. When is that even gonna come out? I believe it when it comes out.
I think it's probably going to be 5.4 or 5.5. And there's a new system called Restoration of Ishgard. I don't know if you've heard about that. That
I've
happened
heard
in like
about
5.1. If you go and look at the cutscenes, like you're like, okay, we're building housing right now. Like it's pretty obvious. I'd be shocked if it wasn't housing. I was like, damn, they just fucking trolled us hard.
that. Right? I mean, I like the fact that the way they build their expansions, like with what is that one expansion that where you can
Yeah,
Idle
Idleshire.
Idleshire, where you could actually see the buildings being built throughout the
Mm-hmm.
patches. That was very cool, but there's nothing there now. Like, I mean, you don't see anything else building through it. Like, maybe they should put housing there, but but I think it's cool that they're using like an Ishgard restoration project. And if it is housing, great. If it's not, to be you.
I do like that they're reusing. Gives me a reason to go to Ishgard again, so
Yeah.
that's cool. I think something that they always do is they always want to add more stuff, new stuff, and I guess everyone wants new stuff too. But I'm like, why don't you go write some like really good quest for the original city-state leaders, so we have something to do with them again? Like, give me a reason to go back to Ul'dah and Limsa and see Merweb, see Nanamo. I'm like, you guys have spent all this time on these assets, and now you just forget them for something new, and
Right.
that eventually is going to go away. It's like you can do something new story wise while revisiting old areas.
That would be nice. That would be very nice.
And so yeah, I think Ishgard housing is probably going to come while we're waiting for the next expansion. Give us something to do, something to decorate.
Chile and Damascus 86 says at least it'll be there by 5.5. So
Yeah. Hopefully it's enough. Hopefully they add additional wards to all the existing housing zones too, because just adding Ishgard probably isn't going to be enough. All right. Did Avi send you a Teaching Pete lore question?
she gave me a hard one. Gosh
All right.
darn it.
All right, let's see if we can teach Pete some lore. She's been messing with me lately. She's been giving me questions that I got wrong, expecting me to have learned from them the first time. That doesn't happen. What'd she give you this week?
So she gave me a multiple choice question. It's good.
That's the only way I have a chance.
So originally on episode 185, KK McLeod, evil question for pronunciation, who founded the great city of Charlian? Am I pronouncing that right? Charlian?
Probably closer than I could get.
A. The Yaka Botanyuka.
Oh wow, she was mean to you, giving you the hard names.
B. Yoran Oran. C. Gata Mapurusharo.
Jesus.
I'm having so much fun with this. D. Nuenkrufsin.
So apparently I've had this question before, and not one of those names sounds familiar to me. Wow.
Do you want me to repeat the names again?
KK, how could you give such hard questions or hard names to pronounce? Really quickly, if I could get them again.
A. Okay, who founded the great city of Charlian? A. Dayaka Botanyuka. B. Yoran Oran. C. Gota Mapushurano. D. Nuenkrif Nuenkrusin.
I'm going to go with B because it seemed like that was the easiest one to pronounce. So that's probably in the game. And like the other three options are like KK McLeod's favorite hentais or something like that.
Oh no. The answer is actually D.
Shit.
Nuenkrif Nuenkrusin.
Yeah.
Good elimination there.
Yeah,
but
I
you're
had
wrong,
no
we're wrong.
clue. I tried to logic it down, but it was not working.
He schooled you. Oh my goodness.
So once again, I have gotten the same question wrong twice. Thanks, KK McLeod. So let's move on to a little bit of discussion of what we've done so far. You said you had only done MSQ so far, and I have not done any MSQ.
Oh
And
no.
we're keeping it pretty much spoiler free of the MSQ for this first week. But
Right.
maybe you can let us know, how long did it take you to get through the MSQ?
For 5.3, 6
Yeah,
hours.
6
Like a
hours.
little less than under 6 hours.
And do you happen to have an idea of like how long it was before you unlocked the first not the first dungeon, the only dungeon?
Not long.
Not long. Okay.
Not long. So you'll have a fun.
So I plan on doing that this weekend. What was your opinion on it? You enjoyed it?
I enjoyed it. Without spoilers, you would like it. And also getting a preview. Of course, they do a preview of what's coming. You'll get the preview of that.
Oftentimes I'm more excited for that than the MSQ. I'm like, meanwhile.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I was thinking when I was streaming it last night. It was just like, okay, where's the meanwhile? What's coming up next? And I am interested where they go from there. After 5 points. So.
And you did run the dungeon, I assume?
I did run the dungeon.
So Chili says best dungeon of this expansion in his opinion.
It's really great. It's great for Shadowbringers. Yeah, it's great for Shadowbringers. It brings the story together.
Okay. So after taking a pretty significant break from the game, you're pretty impressed with the MSQ overall for Shadowbringers?
I think that's the only reason that's keeping me into Final Fantasy XIV is the story with Shadowbringers. It brought me back unlike what was the last expansion? I'm sorry, that last expansion sucked.
Stormblood?
Stormblood,
See, I was into Stormblood at the beginning, and then I just thought they went away from Alamigo too quickly, and then it all focused on Doma, and I was like, I kind of like this other story. Can we have more of that? Like,
you're right.
And I didn't have like anything specifically wrong with the Doma stuff. It was more just like, okay, we didn't really fix everything there.
Yes. Like they didn't complete that second half correctly. Like they did everything so well in the first one. I'm like, I was getting into it, and then the second half it just went.
Yeah, I was like, I want to see how these people like rebuild their community and stuff like that after being under the rule of Garlean for so long.
Yeah, I think that they might have been able to make that into 2 separate expansions, possibly.
Yeah, definitely. There's plenty of story that's available for that if they wanted to. So maybe they had grander ideas and they just had to cut some for time. Who knows? But yeah, I'm glad you're back for the MSQ. Hopefully, something that we go over will spark your interest as well. Have you done, or when you were playing, maybe in the beginning, did you do all the beast tribes?
I didn't do anything after Heaven Word. I did everything in A Realm Reborn except for the crafting, but I'm trying to get into the beast tribe too.
Nice. I really enjoyed this beast tribe. I think the dwarves are really fun, and that's what the latest one is. So that was the first thing I did when I logged on. I actually woke up early before that 8 a.m. reset just so I could do it for like the previous day, and after 8 you get to do them again. So yeah, I'm really enjoying the beast tribes, but it is crafting and gathering. So if you don't have, or it's not crafting and gathering, it's just crafting. If you don't have a crafter at least level 70, you gotta level it up.
No, why are always the good quests have to be crafting? Like, I really wanted to do the Moogle quest, but it's crafting. But now, the dwarves? I love the dwarves, but now it's crafting.
I will say, they have made it really easy to level your crafters now.
Oh,
so if you do want to do those quests, it's not very hard anymore. And once you can get to the restoration of Ishgard, it is insane how quickly you get experience in there. Avi took like 5 crafters from like 72 to 80 in one day, just doing restoration of Ishgard. So it's crazy amount of XP. And then if you get to the Moogles, you level fast doing those as well. They've
Oh,
made it,
that's interesting.
yeah.
Maybe I am gonna do some crafting. I don't know. We'll
Like
see.
Avi legitimately actually learned how to craft, and that is not her thing at all. But she's like, it's so easy now. I can just do it.
And
And
I
then even
might.
though she does it, she's like, can you make me this? I don't really know how to craft.
Yeah, I'll definitely dip my toes into it again and see where it takes me then.
But a lot of humor in the Dwarven Beast tribe, so I recommend, even if you guys aren't into crafting, it's really easy to level now, so give it a shot, and I think the story will be worth it for you all. Uh, Something that I did, and was probably my favorite thing that I've done so far, again, I have not done the MSQ, was the Shiva Unreal trial. Have you heard about this one? It's the new, technically it's a new tier. I think it's pretty much the same, on par with extreme primals. Have you heard of the Unreal
I
tier?
have had a little insight about the Unreal. Someone did tell me on my stream yesterday that it is exactly what you said, a very pumped up of Shiva Extreme, just a little tad bit better, and I'm actually excited and I actually want to try it because that's all I would want to do is the ARR Extreme.
Mhm. I was scared about the difficulty for this being a bit too easy. Sometimes I think they tend to underestimate the Final Fantasy XIV community, and then we end up beating it quicker than they all thought. But I thought they did a really good job scaling it up. I think the difficulty was right in line with it being a weekly event. Because if you beat it once, you get to unlock Faux Hollows. Had you heard anything about that?
What is follows? What
So
is this?
it's a little mini game that you can unlock once you beat Shiva Unreal, and you'll do that once a week. So you can beat Shiva once a week, you unlock the Faux Hollows, and you can get like a bonus one from the Faux Hollows, and then have a chance to beat Shiva again and play again. But
Huh.
and then you get what are called leaves as rewards when you play the Faux Hollows, and then you use those to buy rewards. And I thought it was pretty cool, and I think the difficulty was on par with the rewards that they have. And I'm glad it's not something you can do as many times as you want, because I think people will just burn through it quickly. But I do wish it was available for more than once a week. I feel like it could be 2 or 3 times a week would be right in the sweet spot, and I think they might tend to do that. Like how we
Hmm.
used to have like not as many MGP rewards, and then people are like, we need more. And I think that's eventually what they're gonna do.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see. Oh, that sounds interesting.
But the
I'm interested.
oh, go ahead.
What is the eye level for this?
I think it's synced us down to like 430, if I'm not mistaken. I'd have to check
Oh.
for sure, but I think that's what it synced us down to. And I thought it was tuned really well. Like Chili was saying, "Damn, I have to heal more in this than I have to do in Savage." Um, I was getting hit pretty hard in as my tank. Chad is saying it's a 430 requirement and will sync you to 435. Okay.
Okay.
Alishant says, I beat Unreal yesterday after some hard work. Tightly tuned in Rage for sure. Just beat New Extreme tonight, too. First time clearing the new things on week 1. Well, congratulations, Alishant. Yeah, I have not gotten to the mystery trial, so I do not know what that is yet. But yeah, it was tuned really well. It took us, I think we beat it on our first time in, but it took us pretty much the whole timer. And
Oh, wow.
I think that's
That's
about what you want for a extreme primal thing. Like you don't want to have to bang your head against it for weeks like some parts of Savage you've had to. So I think they got this one pretty right. And I like seeing old content reused. It didn't seem like they had to do too much redesigning. I didn't notice anything different other than just like how hard we're being hit, which I prefer because I think it's kind of sad like when you go back into one and it's so damn easy.
so it's basically the same tactical methods that you have to go in for Shiva
Yeah.
extremely.
And it was fun because I hadn't done Shiva Extreme like the way you need to do it for so long, because now you just go in there and you stand and everything, and it doesn't
Yeah.
really matter. This is like, oh shit, I got a stack. Got to make sure I get away from everyone with this mark, and you actually have to do mechanics.
Ooh, I like that.
I'd like to see them do this with the Labyrinth of the Ancients, because
Yeah.
I hate that Labyrinth of the Ancients. Now we go in there and you don't have to do what you have to do one mechanic, Ancient Flare. That's about it. Got to make sure you run back to your platform. But other than that, I think it's a horrible new player experience when you go into a 24-man raid like that, and you're like, really? This was it? Everything is just like a cakewalk, and we just rolled through it. And I don't know
They
if I
should have
was,
kept it.
yeah, if I was a new player, I'd be like, well, that wasn't very fun.
It's not. They should have just kept that level sync to make it hard for you to get through those raids.
Yeah, they should
Uh,
just like drop down the level that it sinks you to.
exactly.
So yeah, really high on Shiva and the Faux Hollow. So the Faux Hollows minigame is basically you're turning over tiles and there's pictures that you're trying to uncover, and you get a different amount of rewards based on like the smaller picture only shows up some of the time, so you're hoping to get that one. Then there's a couple medium pictures, one of them shows up every time, and then there's a big picture that's there every time, and if you get that, you get a little bit of points, but you can play again.
Is it
And
like memory puzzle? Like,
it kind of looks like that, but they're not like unflipping. You don't have to memorize where they are. So there's a little skill to it. I fucked up a little bit. I got the middle tier reward, and I was still looking for the small one instead of just uncovering the big one, which I also knew where it was, and giving myself a second chance at it. But it was the first week. You live and you learn.
yeah, exactly.
So really high on that. Some crafting and gathering. So I actually was going to hop onto the MSQ last night, and then I started looking at the new recipes that were added, and long story short, I didn't do any MSQ. Because once I started looking at new recipes, then I had to start working on new rotations. Then I had to go hit all the new gathering nodes to get materials. Had to gather all the items that ethereal reduction into the new aether sand. I will say one of the best quality of life adjustments is trial synthesis. So they have now added the ability to trial a craft without actually risking any of your materials. So you won't get anything when you finish it, but you're not at risk of losing. It's just letting you do like a practice rotation type thing.
They made it too easy on you guys.
I wish this would have been around earlier, like in A Realm Reborn, because I do remember like fucking up a craft back then and be like, God damn it. I just like lost a million gil. Now stuff doesn't really seem to be that rare, so you're not usually putting that much gil on the line. But I really did like trial synthesis because I would make a rotation at Teamcraft or something, and then I could do trial synthesis just to make sure I did it right and I don't blow anything up by accident. So that was pretty awesome. And then you just get to play around with different rotations, and I think it's great for a beginning player as well, so they can just figure out what all their crafting buttons do. Because you do level so quickly now that you can get a little overwhelmed by all the abilities that you have on your bar. So I think this is good for people who just want to play around, figure out what their abilities do, and we'll make some better crafters out there. So now
I'll
you
be
can
there
start
soon.
crafting.
I know.
You won't have
What
to
do you,
risk any
what's your
gil.
crafter, by the way?
What was that?
What are you, or what crafter do you?
Well, in 14, you basically have to be a Omnicrafter. You have to level. Well, let me say this: to do the end game crafting, you need to be an Omnicrafter. You have to level all of them because there's like cross class abilities. You get them pretty low, but
Okay.
yeah, you always want to be an Omnicrafter because you always have to make components from another one to make the craft you're doing. I guess if you have enough friends that are crafters, you can always be like, "Hey, I need this" to them. Um, that's kind of like the classic MMO crafting, right? You couldn't
Right.
specialize in everything, but in 14 you can have every job on one character. So they've made it where it used to be almost a requirement to have all of them leveled. Now it's not as much, but I would recommend people do it, and they level so easily now. Like I've said, just do them all,
Okay.
just like Pokemon, catch them all. Yeah, Icarus says you don't have to be an Omni, but it's helpful.
Okay, got it.
But they did add a new crafting and gathering set to make, so you can raise your stats with that. So after MSQ, that's what I'm going to be doing this weekend. I was pretty proud of myself. I make up my own macros. I don't like to cheat and go look at the people on YouTube to see what they did. I was able to make myself 100% macro using high quality, and then if I wanted to use no high quality, I could craft without using a macro. And if I got lucky with some good quality ones, I was good.
Nice. Professional crafter right here. Pete.
It's weird. Like I used to craft all the time, and that was how I made a whole bunch of gil. And then like some people just want to have like they want to get to that gil maximum cap, which is like 999 million or something like that. But I bought a large house, and I'm like, what do I need any more gil for? I've already bought like the biggest gil sink in the game.
Right.
And like I don't get any pride. Like I can't impress anyone in the real world. Be like, you want to know how much gil I have? Come on, guess how much gil I have.
They're I mean, why not?
The fuck is gil?
Have you ever reached the cap? The
oh no. I don't think at one time I've ever had more than 100 million in my stocks. But like it meant nothing to me that when we transferred to Gilgamesh, it was before like the house reclaim, or I think there was another timer, demolish timer, so I couldn't even wait for my house to get demolished and get a little bit of a gil back. I was just like, oh well, it's gone. I'll just buy another one when I get there. And then I had to play the housing game on Gilgamesh, which was pretty difficult, but there was another lull in the game back then, and the demolish timer was on, so I was able to get myself a small house. And then when they added another ward, I was able to get the same plot that I had my old large house at.
Aw, that's sweet. Memories.
And yeah, but I definitely understand the people who are mad that they can't get a house in the game, because there's some big advantages to having a house, and I think that's gardening is the biggest one, because you can make a shit ton of gil gardening.
I was gonna say the storage. I would rather have the house for the storage. That's what I use it for.
Yeah, you can put a lot of the rewards you get in there, not have to clog up your inventory with them. But yeah, I think gardening is a great way to make gil in the game, because there's not like a lot of active time. You just plant stuff and water it once a day. It takes like 30 seconds. And then when you harvest, you're able to sell it for a whole bunch of gil.
If you know what you're gardening, though.
That's why we got FFXIV
That's true. That's true.
So many more people smarter than me, and I just steal their work.
So Icarus in the chat was telling me if I'm interested in only doing the crafting and gathering tribe quest, that I can only just have one of each. It's fine.
That would be fine.
Okay. He goes, or I don't know what Icarus is. He says, didn't want Pete scaring you away from enjoying that content. For being an Omni crafter.
Yeah, I would only recommend being an Omni crafter if you did want to do some of the higher level crafts eventually. But if you just want to enjoy story, just do one. Nothing wrong with that. And you can take the Avi way of things, where for the most of it, until Ishgardian Restoration was added, she would just buy high quality pieces off the market board and turn them into the Grand Company for XP.
That sounds right. I'll do that.
That's the easiest way. And I guess you could just buy stuff for Leave Quest as well. That works as well. I don't think that one's as cheap though. And then the last thing that I did this week was the Puppets Bunker, the 24-man raid, which is being made with Yokotaro from Nier Automata. And I believe you did mention you have done the Copied Factory. You did the first Nier raid?
Yes, I did the first Nier raid. I don't have as much attachment to it as other people has had, because I've never played Nier Automata and I have no idea what it's about. But it's actually it was a fun time, because I know that's the one with the like math calculations that you had to do. Like,
no, actually that was a previous one. That wasn't the Nier Automata. That was Return to Ivalice.
Oh, okay. So this one is that weird. Remind me
So lots of little robots in there. You also have like a flying almost Gundam occasionally.
Yeah, then yeah. I again no attachment to it. It was an easy mow over, but stuff like, as I said, like the math calculation give me something that's something more memorable
Yeah.
and you actually have to work for. But I get it. I mean, people love Nier Automata.
I played Near Automata in preparation for the raid coming out, and
Oh, yeah. How was it?
I enjoyed it. I think some people hyped it up a little bit too much, and I don't know if I like bought into the hype. And then I was like, really? I thought it was good. I was just not over the moon for it as some people were, but I think it was worth playing. And I only played through like the main game, and apparently there's way more endings you can get with replays through it as well. But it was not something that I enjoyed that much where I have to go do it.
Okay. So is it recommended to play it before doing all of these raids?
Well, I would say like the same goes for Return to Evilise. Like if you were familiar with the Final Fantasy that raid was based off of, it gave a lot more to it. And if you were familiar with Nier Automata, you'd get more out of this one. But it isn't 100% necessary that you need to do it to get any enjoyment out of it. I know Icarus in chat, he really loves Return to Evilise. And I'm like, well, I was not familiar with the game at all, and I didn't really enjoy the story for that raid because I felt it depended too much on nostalgia for me. And I'm like, well, I don't have that nostalgia, so didn't do anything for me.
Oh, meh.
So I'm like you. I definitely remember the fight that made me do math.
Yeah, that was great. I mean, that was an amazing thing. Like, if they could capture that again with something else, with another raid, great. But
Then if you
this
did
one,
your math fast enough, you got to come back and see that robot doing a little dance.
exactly.
14 Nier is so light on connecting story, you won't have any clue what's going on if you don't play Automata. I think you still. I mean, there's connections, but I don't think you need to know them to enjoy the story. Probably what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I tanked it. I tanked it blind. We died to like one of the first mechanics on the first boss. Like 7 out of 8 of us in the group all died to that one mechanic, and
No.
the disappointing thing to me in that is that the whole raid didn't wipe. And I'm like, when you have 7 of 8 in one of the alliances all die, you probably don't have it tuned hard enough because, like, when 1/3 of the whole group dies, it should probably be a wipe.
Right.
But we were able to raise and come back from that. And it's not even like one of the healers lived. It was like a bard that lived. I'm like, they didn't res anyone like the other alliances had to res us. But that was pretty damn funny. One of my favorite things to do is the 24-man raid on the first week when it's all brand new, when you're going through it with new people. I actively do not look at Alliance chat. I'm like, no, you're not going to tell me how to do shit. I'm going to learn on my own. I'm going to get knocked off this platform until I realize what's going on. How are you for content like that the first time? Do you like going in blind, or do you like to have some idea?
I love to go in blind so I know what I'm doing later.
Yes.
I live and learn. Or yeah, live and learn. That's the motto.
That's how I love it. I'm like, I'm going to learn a lot faster when I die to something and I know like, okay, that's going to kill me. Now I know what to do. But if you just tell me like blah 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 when this ability moves over here, I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to remember that. I have to get hit by it first.
Yeah. Oh, Sword of Storms. I like going in on the first day before you get the people that are like, "Did you watch the video?"
Yeah.
No, I didn't watch the damn video.
I did not watch the video because it's the 24-man raid. You don't need to watch a video for 24-man raid.
No, you don't.
Lloyd says, you watch the Mr. Happy video or you get kicked out.
Oh, poor Mr. Happy. He's working so hard on content right now.
Yeah, I know. He spends all that time streaming and then he has to turn it all into the videos. It's crazy. Good on
And I'll
him.
just I mean, good, yeah, good for him. But it'll just be mowed over later on. Just, Mr. Happy.
Buddhist Metal said, I went in blind and the learning was great. Too bad the first alliance disbanded because a bunch of people's gear broke.
What?
Who is going into raid with a broken gear? Come on, people. Everyone knows you just level your crafter so you can repair in there.
But was it good? Is it like worth it? Is anything memorable there?
So I like it because it feels different from the typical Final Fantasy 14. Like if you played Nier, you are like, oh, this has a very Nier feel to it. Like the bosses have a very Nier feel to it. So I think that's pretty cool. I thought the story leading up to it, which I don't really want to spoil this week, is good. It's a little wacky, and I think Final Fantasy 14 needs a little wackiness sometimes. Occasionally, I think they take themselves a little too seriously. That's why I like some of the side story quests, like Hildebrand. I'm like, okay, finally they're just having a little fun with this. So I liked it a lot. I have the same problem with I did in the first Nier raid, Copied Factory, was I thought some of the bosses just had a little too much HP, and we got to the point where we were just repeating mechanics, and it just felt like it was slogging on. There was nothing different happening in the fight. I'm just like, okay, once we already start repeating stuff, let's wrap it up. Maybe you lower the HP a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. See, if I didn't remember the last raid, then they do need to change things up in the mechanics.
You don't remember the cute little robots?
I mean, they're cute, but I don't. I really don't remember.
Well, it's worth doing again because you get a coin drop from this newest one, you get a coin drop from the old one, and you're able to turn them in for the upgrade piece to upgrade some of your tome gear.
What's the highest item level right now for this one?
So with the upgrade piece, you'll be able to upgrade your tome gear from 490 to 500.
Oh, we're up at 500 now. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Satyr Eagle's Claw said, you don't remember the upside down penis?
What? No, man. Now I need to play tonight and find this upside down.
I say maybe you haven't done the Copied Factory. We don't.
I swear I have, because I remember looking at the girl. You know how everyone's so bae over here, over her, and it's just like, okay, I don't see it, but whatever.
So yeah, I think that's the last thing I did. Definitely going to be hitting the MSQ this weekend. So where there's anything I talked about that you're like, okay, I want to do that this weekend.
Well, crafting. That's so bad. Like, I really want to do the Moogle and the dwarves. I know Moogle was like long time ago, but the dwarves for sure. I had a fun time doing the dwarves because going through Shadowbringers, I did the side job quest thing with one of the dwarves, and I loved
the role quests.
Role quests, yes, that's what it is. And I loved visiting their town and everything about that. So I really want to do that tribe quest, and I didn't realize it was a crafting one. Darn it.
And there's also the Namazu in Stormblood. They have a beast tribe, and they're the little catfish guys.
Yeah.
They're crafting and gathering, and I thought their quest was a lot of fun. So there's plenty for you to do. Go to the Moogles, to the Namazu, to the dwarfs. I think you'll have yourself a good time.
So much to do, so much to catch up with. As I said, I only did MSQ since the second half of Stormblood, so and like I just unlocked the twinning yesterday, and that is amazing dungeon, by the way. I love that dungeon. It was really great, and the music was banging. I see why the hype for
the music is probably the thing that Final Fantasy 14 does consistently, like to the max. It's the best in, I would say, any video game. Soken just knocks it out of the park every time.
Bow down to Soken. He's great. And what was this thing I've heard about? Square Enix is banning people from doing remixes on YouTube. Is that still a thing or no?
I hadn't heard of that, And I actually just saw that Alex Mukula, who we featured on the Community Roundup before, and was it Heavy Metal Gamer or Husky by the
Husky
Geek?
Red.
They just did a collaboration, and Square Enix retweeted it. So I don't think they're banning people for doing that stuff. That'd be really fucked up to retweet it and be like, look how cool this is, and then copyright strike.
Right. But it was really great. I like that.
So yeah, I loved hearing all the remixes. I loved when LBR would do the limit breaking music segment, and I'd love to do something like that, but I'd feel like I was ripping it off, so I don't do it.
Oh, you are. Not ripping it off. Don't worry.
I think that's about it for. Oh, actually, I had one more thing. Scrolling down in the outline a little bit. Apparently, some of these had been making the rounds. These pictures I posted in the outline of some funny flavor text that's being added to some of the new collectibles in there. And yes, so these are the new collectibles that they made to turn in. And so I thought maybe we could just alternate with some of these rarefied applewood staff. You had the applewood staff and the robes with the fur, and the whole collector's club will be looking at her. So this is 100% legit. This is the descriptions that they're adding to some of these collectible items to craft and turn in for EXP.
Wow, I love it. I can't wait to craft now. I hate to say that.
Another one of my favorites was the rarefied holy rainbow hat for when you need to gather in the afternoon and compliment my lady at dusk. It looks just like a fedora.
Oh my gosh. Let's see. I don't see anything else. Rarefied glider skin thigh boot. They'll glide right on, but you'll need to peel them off.
Peel them off.
So weird.
All right, so I recommend I just picked some by random, but there's some gems in there, and there's a lot of them. So when you're using collectibles to level your crafters as well, take a look at the little descriptions that they put in there, like the rarefied Damel skin codex. Hopefully the rest of the Damel didn't go to waste.
Or the rarefied dome and iron Uchigatana. Don't try checking the blade to see if it's sharp. It's sharp.
You don't make that mistake twice.
No.
Well, with that, thank you so much, Kooky. We're at the Community Roundup, partner. And I'd love it if you let the people know where they can find you, where they can find RNG&Tea.
You can find me at Kooky Persona. That's KOOKY Persona on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You can find RNG&Tea on twitch.tv/RNG and ANDTEA. You can go to rngnt.com as well. We do a monthly podcast, as I said. We do stream it on Twitch. Our next podcast is February.
It's pandemic. We've all lost track of time. Monday seems like Thursday. Thursday feels like Sunday. August feels like February.
Right. I'm sorry. August 28th. We are also doing a D&D or tabletop game called Aliens in Stress, or I'm sorry, Rolling in Stress, and it's an alien RPG tabletop game. We do that monthly as well. Our next stream for that is on Sunday, August 23rd at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. Lloyd is in the chat right now. He is our producer for RNG&Tea, as well as one of the members for the Alien RPG. I do RNG&Tea as well with my friend Sarah Skopik. If you all know, she's actually being married to Callie of Olympic Radio. So yeah, we're all a big family. If you all know us, go ahead and check us out. Again, RNG&Tea, and I'm here at Kooky KOKY Persona.
and it is an awesome show, so be sure to give them a follow so you can check them out. All of those links will be in the show notes, so if you didn't catch us live, you'll be able to look at the show notes and find out where you can find Kooky, Sarah, and Lloyd on RNG&Tea. So thank you so much, Kooky, for doing this and filling in for Avi. It was so good to see you again, and we need to make sure we do this more often so we don't lose contact again.
Yes, invite me anytime, and you can come on our show, of course, at any time. Just like say, hey, I wanna barge in and do RNG&Tea. I'm like, okay, come on over.
All right, I'll see you in February.
Yes. And we'll definitely hang out next time I'm in San Diego.
Yes, hopefully we get a fan fest here eventually too.
Yes.
That was so disappointing. I was like, really? We have Comic-Con, Fan Fest, and TwitchCon all in San Diego in 1 year. I was gonna save so much money not having to travel everywhere, and then I was like, and it's all canceled.
I know, it sucks. I was really hoping to go to San Diego again. Lloyd says, as Kooky would say, jump on our nuts. Yeah, jump on our nuts if you want to come to the show.
All right, jumping on nuts. Shit podcast is all about that. So fingers crossed we get a fan fest either this year or early next year. Wear your damn masks, people, and then we can get back to going and doing fun shit like that.
Yes, be safe out there too.
And I got a little bit of listener reaction this week. I tweeted out how people's first run of the 24-man raid went. Johnny Smith Apple said, my first run was with my static, and we're having a blast through the entire thing. Wiped once on the 3 jet boss, and then again on the commander fight, but overall, the music slapped, and the mechanics were confusing enough for me to want to do it more. Terabyte says, my first run today went a lot smoother than my second run. My second run didn't go as smoothly because I was in a Discord voice chat, and the tangent information was distracting me. In mechanic-heavy fights, especially healing, I don't like background noise. I have to pay lots of attention also. I can see that. When there's like a lot of chat going on, especially in like stuff like Savage, I'm like, come on, let's just concentrate a little bit. And Chili, I almost made this the tweet of the week because my static needs 2 DPS. Chili says, looking for 2 DBS to join static on Aether. Got E567 on farm currently. Frogging Light Rampart in E8S. Either contact me or She Heals I Tank. We run Tuesday and Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So yes, anyone interested in some Savage raiding, we got 2 open spots, and we'd love to fill out that static. But, Kooky, would you have anything to add to the show before we wrap up? Any last minute shout outs you want to give?
Shout out to everyone here. Thank you for coming. I know nobody knows me anymore because Limit Break Radio's gone.
Oh, but I don't believe that at all.
But thank you again. Thank you so much, P. Thank you, Avi, for having me here on She Heals I Tank. I love to be a shithead, so
a shithead forever now that you've guest hosted. Thank you so much. And that's going to be it for this episode. As always, we have enjoyed hanging out with you here live on Twitch, so thank you for spending your valuable time with us. Be sure to hit that follow button so you know the next time we go live. And a big thank you to everyone listening to the podcast through iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, or whatever app you choose to listen on. You really are the reason we keep making episodes. And remember, wherever you do listen to us, it would mean a shit ton of us if you gave our little shit podcast a rating or review, or, just told a friend to check us out. Here with Kooky Persona, I am Vegan Pete, and we will talk to you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
I'll talk to you next week. Kooky won't, unless she calls it.
That's true.